And good evening on this 3-year, I still feels very weird to me to say, it's 3-year anniversary of Touring Fan Live, 3-year anniversary of Let's Talk Vinyl, 3 years of viewership and podcasts and so much here. And as of today,
new friends, you forgot new friends.
New friends, old friends, friends afar, friends of a near. It is something pretty crazy. When I thought about this today, Trey, and I'll do the introduction here in a second. We have together accumulated over, I think it's 3 days worth of material between you and me over 3 years, whether it was the show or you as a guest coming on and things, but we have that much talking between us, which is incredibly insane to think about, that someone literally can spend 3 days of their life listening to us. But with almost right over 2 million downloads over 3 years of this show, as of today, had its highs, had its lows. And you've been a big advocate for Touring Fan Live, and I still think I'll never forget when I reached out to you and I said, "Hey, dude, I have this crazy ass idea, and I had this idea in my head, and I thought you would decline," and you were like, "Yeah, let's do it." And I'm like, "All right, we'll see how far it goes." Most podcasts don't last more than 6 months. We've gone 3 years, 2.5 years further past that. We've had a lot of cool guests on the show. We've had some last-minute episodes. We've had some episodes that have done really cool things. And we've had a show in this studio when you came and visited. And, man, I will tell you, you started off as someone that I was so...
Your studio looks great, by the way, I have to tell you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, even though it's like...
Yeah, it didn't look like that, but in any way, shape, or form when I was there. It looks great.
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, I will say this: you started off as somebody that I was looking forward to interviewing to get the knowledge of Pearl Jam and wine out of, to becoming a friend that I would casually talk to and would have on the show, and then we became co-hosts. And now I would say you're as close as family as many family members I have, and I am super honored to say that 3 years with you has been an honor, and I'm super appreciative of everything that you have brought to Touring Fan Live.
That is so nice of you, Anthony. I've really enjoyed doing this show with I think it created a little more excitement about Pearl Jam for me when was you're at 20 years of about 30 years 30 years following a band, and sometimes you're like, it kind of wanes a little bit, and just talking about it again with a friend is always energizing. So I appreciate that. So
Well,
thanks, Matt.
if you think about it, so 3 years ago we started this show in really the peak of the pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was so much changes the band's been through in the last 3 years. If you think about it, with Gigaton coming out and was such a unique album at that time, based off the fact that it was a political album in a time that really we needed it, but it wasn't being played live. And when we did see it live, the political side of things had changed and shifted to the band touring for the first time in so many years past the pandemic, and how that band changed to them touring again last year. And now tomorrow, this will be the third tour since us doing this show. And, I think tonight we're not doing a song like we normally do. We're going to be talking about, this tour that's coming up, we're on the eve of, and the expectations that are kind of high among fans, what I'm reading online, and, kind of just the overall feel of what we're expecting from this tour, being just such a few dates. But it's so crazy to think that 3 years ago when we first started the show, and what we were expecting the band to be, and what we were expecting to come out of the pandemic, and what we got out of the pandemic, and now what we're getting tomorrow, and how different that is, it really makes for like how interesting this band really has become.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, I think that the expectations of Pearl Jam fans after, sort of getting something for, 25, 28 years up to that point. And so when they started coming out and doing these shorter set lists and certainly shorter tours, um, uh, and that was really, just another step for that band in order to keep their own sanity, I'm sure, and to keep their own private lives happy and their families happy. And so instead of doing these 45-day tours and being gone for 4 months, um, it's they can do this little 1 month jaunt and knock it out, and hopefully in 4 or 5 months they'll again, I have no idea. I have not been on any of the Pearl Jam fan sites at all. I haven't been on the Facebook page, and I certainly haven't been on the board in years. And it's just mostly because it's a time thing. It's just
Sure.
so easy to get sucked into that stuff. So,
Well,
um,
well
but
before we get
I
in,
can't imagine they're not going to do a short West Coast tour, or even a short East Coast tour, the same way they're rolling to the Midwest right now. I could totally see them doing that. I could see them doing like the Southeast in, like January, February, March or something. I mean, when the weather's a little bit nicer down there, right? So they can at least go down there for a month. And although that being said, I don't see them going to Florida either. So,
no.
you know what I
Well,
mean?
before we
Well, I
jump into
guess
any
it
more
does.
Pearl Jam hypotheticals, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I know Matt's talking about fans are going nuts over the merch. We will talk about merch in a little bit, including the poster that came out today of the big black penis. Let's talk about what we're drinking tonight, shall we? With this show being wine related, and I feel much more sophisticated over the last 3 years with my knowledge, even though I might have gotten
Do
yelled at
you?
right before the show.
I'm going to let you tell a story, and if you don't tell it correctly, I'm going to jump in and correct you. But I'm going to give you a chance to go ahead and tell them what you did after learning about wine from me for 3 years, 36 shows, roughly. 36 shows,
Yeah,
roughly.
yeah.
Tell them what you did today.
It's 35. We skipped 1 month when you got married.
Okay.
But it's okay. So I'm drinking Outlander from Paso Robles, and I'm probably saying that wrong, and I'll get yelled at for that in a minute. It's a red
No.
wine, but when I opened it, I had the cork still in it, and Trey says, "Why does it look like the cork is being popped through the foil?" And and because it was. And he says, "How is it that over 3 years' time you haven't learned that you're supposed to take the foil off with the knife associated with the corkscrew?" And I said, "My corkscrew, okay, all right, doesn't have a fucking knife. It's just a bottle opener on top." And then he says, "Maybe George Washington would have had this bottle opener, but
I
you
said
shouldn't."
Thomas Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson.
I believe that was Thomas Jefferson's actual opener. You stole that from Virginia when you moved to Kansas City.
Quite possibly. Well, um, I've been using this for 2 fucking years, and you've never complained about it until this
That's
evening.
because I've never seen the foil just sticking straight up like a volcano exploded, because
Oh God.
you pull the cork through the foil.
Well,
You take the foil off.
God.
Now we know. Now I'm not yelling at you. I'm just talking to you.
Well, I feel like I'm getting yelled at, but it's okay. Yeah. So that was really nice of you, Brad.
Thank you, Brad.
But yeah. So tonight I'm drinking this Outlander. It's 2020 vintage. Matt said he was just recently in a honeymoon, and well, I guess not 2006, and got shit faced in Paso Robles.
That's an easy place to go do that. They make some high octane wines. How much alcohol is in that thing?
This is 14.5% by volume.
14.5.
Yeah. Is that a lot?
That's fine. That's not bad. That's fine. That's right in line. That's a place that makes some high octane wines for sure.
So this is called a Mirage?
Spell it.
Meritage. Is that right?
Meritage.
Meritage.
So
Mirage.
it's a red blend.
Meritage. You say
Red blend.
Mirage. I say Meritage. You say potato. I say potato. Whatever. But it says it's a blend of a Bordeaux style with Cabernet, a bunch of other things. There's a laundry list of things on here.
Yep.
And this is isn't Paso Robles in Palm Springs? Is that the same thing?
No. Paso Robles is close to it's on the coast. And it has many different AVAs, and they make many different styles of wines. The closer to the coast you go, it gets cooler, obviously. And so they have things like Pinot Noir and Chardonnay planted closer to the coast. And then you've got some Syrah in that area as well. And then as it moves inland, you'll find more Bordeaux varietals, so Cabernet and Merlot, Cabernet Franc, things like that. And so the further inland you get, the hotter it gets, and the higher octane those wines get. So,
well, it tastes really good. I actually bought this I actually bought this when I was in Virginia, and I've had it for a while. And when I was unboxing stuff, because we were on the left side of the studio, we ended up
Yeah.
putting Charlotte's like stage. So she's got like her drum set, her keyboard, her guitar, her mic stand, because she has a concert in 2 weeks. I
Nice.
ended up finding this fucking box of wine. I had no idea I even brought with me. It was like 6 bottles of wine, and I mean, they're not. I mean, I don't know what this cost me, but it's a 2020, so it's 3-year vintage. But it tastes really good. So, but yeah, this is my box of wine I found in my cellar. So,
That's awesome.
yeah,
Well, I
no, it was
brought I brought this is my friend Spencer's winery here in Walla Walla, and it's the wine is called Sword Fight,
oh,
but the winery is called El Corazon. That
oh,
means the heart in Spanish. And this is actually a collaboration wine that he does with a friend of ours named Sean, who has a winery called Roti here in Walla Walla.
okay,
And the two of them, I think Sean makes a Syrah and Spencer makes the Malbec. And then they blend the wines together and then bottle them and then sell them through their own websites and stuff. So,
wow,
oh, good one, Julie. So Julie is one of our most all-time favorite customers. She was just in Walla Walla. She happened to pick a weekend where I was not going to be there. I was actually, oh God, I think I was even driving to Montana when she was, which is where her and her husband Ron live. But they have the most beautiful wine cellar with a lot of wine, Anthony, a lot more
really,
wine than I have in my wine cellar. So, and they have a lot of sleight of hand too. So they're great customers and awesome people. I don't know how often she watches this show. I know it's the first time I think she's chimed in. Anthony, do you remember during COVID, not only were we doing our show, but I also had my,
your
for the
wine, your wine,
winery, I was doing
yes,
all my podcasts, right?
yeah,
The czars were on every week.
ah,
And so, it was a great way to be able to get together with people um, during a time you couldn't get together. And so it was cool.
no, I think that's awesome. The way that you handled it, because I was always so interested. Like you were like, hey, you should come to one of these like tastings. You got like did like a dinner and wine type deal where everyone would kind of get together and communicate. It was a really genius idea. It was a really smart. Um, and I will say, this really ties into like your genius side and how you've grown so much, since we've known each other. For people that haven't realized, Trey has grown even further. Everyone knows Holly is beautiful and stunning and a model and stuff like that. So I think Trey was getting a little jealous of what was going on in the world. And he decided this most recently, 3 days ago, that he was going to start tapping into his modeling career. I'm going to give example A here. Here's example A of Trey. Look at those legs and his posture with that beautiful, like masculine, very nicely like trimmed beard, right? But wait, it gets even better. Let's go to option B here. Look at the. Hold on, let's zoom in here, shall we? Okay. He's got like a little V-neck, right? With like the nice necklace, the button-up shirt. He's got like even that hand is model-esque with the way he's holding that manicured nails. Everything's done right. Let's continue on, shall we?
Oh, my
Why am I getting like? Oh Jesus. Look at this. Oh, here we go. Look at the pour here. This very, very model-esque. Look at the beard with the nice ashy gray tones, the perfectly trimmed nails. Look at that everything here.
All right.
Trey has grown into this new butterfly of I don't even know what you say. Like, just look how he's grown as a person in this model-esque that he's done here.
I have nothing to say there, Anthony. That was me in my work gear. That was my jeans and my work boots and my
Dude,
long sleeve shirt that I take out of my closet and my hat.
dude, if you took pictures of me in my work gear, I wouldn't look like that. Like that is like
Well, you
if
probably
that.
have there'd be some plumber butt showing,
Oh
right?
Jesus, no, it ain't that
You
bad.
know it. Come on, you're like trying to put the wires together and you're bending
Oh
over underneath to get the speaker there.
no, I don't
The
bet. My
kid,
speakers are always hung.
the 6-year-old kids are walking by and they see that they're mommy and
No,
they're scarred for life. Oh,
oh,
Anthony,
thanks Jesus
gosh
Christ, no.
almighty.
No, 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 no.
That's
No, those
why they
pictures.
have one. That's why they make one-piece jumpers for workers like you.
Oh no,
The full zip up.
I like to wear like an Adidas dry fit T-shirt. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do tomorrow? I'm gonna do exactly what you're doing.
All right.
I'm gonna recreate those photos, those
All right.
exact 3 photos
All right.
with
But doing
my
your
how
work.
it,
Doing your
with what
work.
my work. I'm trying to think. I am gonna fucking make it happen. That's what I'm gonna do. But
You can do the back of the van.
oh,
You
dude,
sit on the back of the
I
van,
am
right?
back of the van with a box of cable.
You can be bending down, like putting wires in the wall.
That's right. And then I'm gonna be punching down a jack or a speaker on the other one. That's exactly it. And I'm gonna make it look as
All right.
awesome as you do, because I
You
wish I
need
looked.
you need to salt and pepper that beard a little bit, buddy.
I'm getting there. Holy shit. So just so everyone knows, I haven't grown up this further out in a long time, but I am running the Kansas City Marathon in October. So I've been training for it. So I said, like, I'm just going to let this grow until October 21st when I run it, and then I'm going to shave afterwards. So,
You're gonna run with the beard?
yeah, yeah.
Oh
And
man.
the reason I'm doing this is September is Mental Health Month, National Suicide
Yep.
Prevention Month, and there is a book I just read from a gentleman who ran the Boston Marathon in honor of his son, who took his life. That was battling demons, kept it to himself. Was my age, was 38 when he took his life, and really sparked interest in his father wanting to go run. Wanted to do something, get out. Because for me to get through some of like the shit I deal with, like I go on bike rides or I run. That's how I clear my head, like my meditation. So I was told to read this book, and at his last chapter, he said that like and it's weird, but like the way he said it made sense, was like he grew his beard because his son had a beard in honor of his son to run the race. And then after the race, he shaved it off because it was like, that was like the victory. Like he didn't want to keep the beard the whole time. And I don't look good in a beard. I mean, I was really fat the last time I had a beard, so it'll be interesting to see what I look like, with a beard
That
now.
beard
Because
looks good on you. What do you mean? You don't like that beard? The beard looks good on you.
the last time I had a beard, dude, when we first started this show, I was fat. I was about 60 pounds heavier than I was.
That has nothing to do with your beard. It's just because you were fat. Now you're
but
not. Look at you.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it looks like, in October. But
You look good, man. I'm proud of you running a marathon. Good grief, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't run a mile.
Oh, you could too.
I gotta get my knee replaced.
Dude, I can see you you're bending with your knees perfectly in that one photo. Do we need to bring that photo back up? Hey, look, hold on. Let's go back to example A.
Don't go back to that photo. No reason to whatsoever. It's fine.
You're bending over just fine. Look at
that hurt
posture.
a lot. Look at my right knee. You can see my cartilage is sticking out of the end of that.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's gross. It's gross. Holly will tell you. Trust me.
But yeah, no. So I am. So right now, Brady, my son starts his Keeper for a Cure campaign tomorrow, and he's raising money. He changed his whole campaign a little bit this year. So in past years, the last 4 years, he's raised money just exclusively for nonprofits that had to do with breast cancer. And last year, especially last year, he got to meet a lot of people that were like battling cancers throughout, youth cancer, prostate cancer, testicular cancer, brain cancer, tons of different cancers. So Brady found out about this place called Gilda's Clubhouse, which is Gene Wilder's wife, Gilda, that was on SNL. She
Gilda
died of
Radner,
cancer. Yeah. So they built this thing called Gilda's Clubhouse. And basically this organization in Kansas City, they do for all different breeds of like any kind of cancer. And when Brady did the tour of the place, what really touched him was like, there was a girl there that like, she thought she got cancer because of her getting into a fight with her mother, and like thought about it the whole time. And like, that's what ate her up inside. And but they had like counseling and mentorship that was available to them because of Gilda's Clubhouse and the funds that were raised.
Cool.
So he's doing that. So what I'm going to do is starting October 1st, they have like a different side of things, and I'll talk more about it later. I can go down the rabbit hole, but I'm utilizing me running this marathon to help Brady to raise funds because he's got big ambitions this year. So we'll see. So there's a lot to it. So I'm kind of tying a bunch of shit together for all these things, but we'll see.
We're busy. We got this tour coming up that neither one of us can go to. You can at least go to one or two shows, but unfortunately I have to miss the whole thing. Eddie forgot to call me and ask me when would be convenient time for him to go on tour. And
you could always go to his
September, October, not it.
You can go to his solo shows in Seattle.
No, I got tickets for Monday.
Okay.
So we did the lottery, and I can't believe it. I honestly can't believe that I got either day. I mean, everything I've heard is like, I know so many people that got shut out. I feel so bad, but what I feel really bad about is seeing the surge pricing when they went on
Oh,
sale. That was just disgusting.
well, here's something too that's even, I don't know if you've realized. So today, if you're in Minnesota right now to see the show,
Yeah.
tickets have dropped for front row, but the tickets are like $500 a piece. There is a ton of tickets being dropped for Minnesota and Chicago, and some of the really good seats are being just skyrocketing price. And there's some other good seats there that are at regular prices, but I don't understand why they were holding on to seats for so long to drop them beforehand. I mean, this is why I don't ever stress
Well,
about.
that could be, I don't know. I mean, is that people releasing them back to Ticketmaster for them to sell, saying, "Hey, listen, I can't go," and then does Ticketmaster get the rights to go sell those again? I have no idea. I don't know how it works. So,
So from
um,
my understanding, if you sell the tickets, right? Like if I drop, so for instance, I sold some, a pair of tickets, I can only sell them for what I paid for them, and they went online, and that's what they sold for. The tickets that are being raised up are ones either A, the band had and they're releasing, or B,
okay,
Ticketmaster had and they're releasing. And
gotcha.
the the idea behind this, it just, I mean, I understand that 10 Club, their stance on things is they're doing what's best for the fans, utilizing this ticketing process that's supposed to work for fan clubs and the basis. But realistically, I don't know if this is any better than it was before, because it looks the ticket pricing and the absurd ticket pricing, especially if you look at any of the major shows from this past summer, if you didn't get tickets on the day they dropped, the odds of you getting tickets that you wanted, unless you're willing to spend the money for them, is slim to none. And
My question is, who is making that money? So let's say ticket prices get released and they're $200 a ticket or whatever it is. Taylor Swift tickets, $200 a ticket. Uh, what percentage does Ticketmaster get out of that $200, and what percentage does Taylor get out of that? And the second question is, when it goes to surge pricing, and all of a sudden those tickets are $4,000 on Ticketmaster, who's getting that money? Is
so
that Ticketmaster is getting all that money, and Taylor Swift just gets her $180 or whatever it is,
from
or
my
is Taylor getting
understanding,
all that money?
when I read that article that Spin Magazine put out about 6 weeks ago about Taylor Swift and understanding the ticket system, was every venue, like for instance Arrowhead Stadium, they had
Yep.
2 nights for
Yep.
Taylor Swift, right? A
Yep.
Friday and a Sunday or something like that. She was promised that if it sells out, she would get this much money from the tickets. That's it. Ticketmaster was able to do whatever they wanted elsewhere. So once that the artist and
So as long as the artist got their guarantee, yeah.
so basically, so from my understanding is like an artist is basically subcontracting out this company to sell the tickets, right? And then the company is then promising them so much money per ticket, right? And they're not so involved in what the ticket prices cost, because I did see that Taylor Swift kind of said, "Hey, listen, I feel bad for the fans," and I think this is what kind of sparked the Spin Magazine article. Was like, I feel kind of bad for the fans that they're getting this high, but I don't have control over that. Like, and that's what this whole breakdown did. So if I'm reading into this correctly, if Pearl Jam goes out and says, "Hey, listen, we need $1 per ticket for the Vitology Foundation," 30% needs to go to the band and 11% needs to go to the touring crew. The rest of it, whatever they break down, or however Ticketmaster figures the shit out. But then the rest of it, so I think it's based off of, so the overall ballpark figure. So say, okay, well then this is how much all the tickets, if we sell the tickets, this is what you're guaranteed. And then that's it. And then basically from there, Ticketmaster can kind of jump up and down. And then that extra money is going to Ticketmaster, if I'm reading into this correctly, which is absolutely fucking insane.
Yeah, that's insane. Especially like the Eddie shows. This is what made me mad, was that these are benefit shows. They're raising money, and all of that money should go to wherever Eddie's wanted that money to go.
Correct.
So I mean, those tickets were $220 a piece, that was regular price through the 10 Club. And immediately after, boom, they were $5,000, $6,000 or whatever it was, and at Benaroya. And I'm like, well, if Eddie was getting 80% of the ticket take, no matter what the ticket price was, that'd be awesome. Because in that instance, that's 80% of that money is going back to wherever the charity he's raising money for.
Yeah.
But if he's literally just working for a minimum guarantee, and once let's just say it's $1 million, whatever that number is, and Ticketmaster's makes $8 million, that's kind of crazy. So.
The thing too that I read the other day that was kind of shocking and surprising to me, and I was reading this tomorrow. I have another episode of another unnecessary list, and we were choosing lists, and one of them was talking about like the ticket costs and stuff like that, and the increased cost of tickets has raised so drastically. Like there's always been an incline, like from the 70s to 80s, it went up like it was like 11% or something like that, and then 80s to 90s, it went up like 6%. And then it was like 90s to 2004 was like 8%. And then from 2005 to 2015, I think it was like 26%. And in the last 5 years, it's gone up 67% for popular concerts. So a ticket that like today would cost us like, Pearl Jam's like 120 a ticket or plus fees. It comes out to like 100 and whatever it is. Yeah. That ticket would have been like $40 back in the day, which is, if you think about it, in 2006, when Pearl Jam was playing that massive tour, went up, down, East Coast, West Coast, all this stuff, the 42 dates, the average ticket cost was, you're basically, if you did the double fees, you were basically paying like $80, $86.
Yep.
Now it's $322 fucking dollars.
That's crazy.
Insane.
Yeah. Yep. Sure is. But you know what? Hey, they obviously, it's working for everybody. People are paying the money, so they might not be happy about it, but people want to see your band.
Well, yeah, and I mean, everyone 160. It's 162 currently. Jesus Christ.
$162 for a Pearl Jam ticket tomorrow night.
So it's double.
Yeah.
Wow. And I think this is where, and here's the thing too. And I'm not, and I want to make this really clear. I'm not knocking the band by what I'm going to say, but I want it to be clear about the expectations that fans have had since pre-COVID, during COVID, and what it is now. Pre-COVID, you were spending about the same, right? The last tour in 2018, the big tour, when they were playing Fenway and all that stuff, the prices really weren't tremendously different than they are now, but they're a little bit, right? But they were playing 3-hour sets, killer sets, a lot of surprises, all these different things, big arena, and just killing it, right? Their first show back, they're playing Festival, right? They're playing See Here Now Festival. It was amazing, right? Everyone knew it was a festival. You're going to get what you're going to get. Then they're playing Ohana and all these different... You knew what you were getting going into it. It's festival shows. You're not going to get anything more to it. So our expectations were set low. Well, then they're going and they're playing L.A. LA Night 1. All right, 20-something songs. You're like, they're just warming up. They get bigger into it, but you feel bad. I mean, that was a show I went to. All right, whatever. And then you're consistently getting it, so you're asking for more money. Now the band's older, right? Maybe they just can't handle it as much. I mean, COVID could do a number on some people, but you're not getting. You're paying what you're paying before, but you're not getting the exact same thing. So your expectations of what you were getting previously and what you're getting now are two different things, but you're still paying the same, maybe even a little bit more for tickets. And they're not playing as many shows, so the demand for the tickets is even higher than it was previous. So now the fight for tickets is a little bit harder to get. So, and then also hotel costs have gone up. Gasoline has gone up. Food costs have gone up. So a trip that would normally cost you, for instance, me going to Dallas in a couple weeks, normally would cost me, $400 all in. Flight, hotel, Airbnb, all that stuff. It's probably going to cost me $800 to $900 for the week. So now I'm doubling in cost that. But am I getting the same value as I did before? And the answer to that, unless tomorrow proves me wrong and proves everyone else wrong, you're not getting that. And now we're back to having an opening act. So you're getting...
your opening act is Deep Sea Diver, which is one of the best bands in the United States right now. So that's what I'll tell you, I'm mad about missing the shows for the next 2 days simply for not seeing Deep Sea Diver. For anyone watching this right now, if you're going to the St. Paul show, you better be there for the opener because they are unbelievable.
I've never heard of them, so I'm not. I can't.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was we saw them last year at the Showbox. It was a homecoming show after her little West Coast tour, and my friend Rusty from Memphis was in Seattle that week, and saw that show at the Showbox. It was just unreal. And then Holly and I got to meet Jessica, the singer, at the Smash benefit for David Bowie last year in November. And we made a bottle of wine for an auction item, a big 3-liter bottle that was etched with Sub Pop stuff and all this cool stuff on it. And then I took it down to the artist room, so all the artists signed it. And Jessica was there. It was really cool to be able to talk to her and just tell her how great that show was because it was unbelievable. So, yeah, those folks are in for a treat the next 2 nights for sure.
I know because isn't it? I'm trying to think who else opens up for him because it's not the same artist at every show. Is that correct?
No, it's just the St. Paul shows. I think they're only doing St. Paul next 2 nights. So, or next 3 nights.
I'm trying to see if I can pull that up because I know Inhaler is another band that's opening up for him.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Inhaler
look,
opened.
You keep saying, are we getting the same value? And it's the value is essentially a dollar amount. And you're paying what you're getting back for that dollar is it's completely subjective. You may not think you're getting that value, but the guy sitting right next to you might think that he got the deal of the century, right? Because he gets to see his 33 years in, and he gets to see his band that he's loved forever. And so,
I understand that, and I'm not trying to put a dollar of value on it. But I guess my question out to everybody is, what caused the change? So they're not playing the massive tours they have right now. Now that might change next year, right? There's the rumors of the new album. Mike's talked about it in numerous articles and said that they're knocking on the door of completion. Stone's talked about it multiple times in articles. Jeff kind of backtracked it 3 weeks ago in his interview when he was doing the interview for the skate park, and he said, we're not nearly as close as they're making it out to be. Eddie hasn't really talked much about it at all. He's kind of bypassed the questions, and Matt Cameron really hasn't done many interviews besides the stuff he's done with Soundgarden. So with all that being said, we might have a massive tour next year. They're talking about, there's rumors of Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and China, which is crazy to me because it's been so long since they've played there. Nothing official, of course, but all these different rumors. And then the other thing, too, is 2024, you're talking about, how many years since? So 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That'd be 6 years since they played Seattle? I mean, it's been a long time since Seattle's been played. So there's all these hypotheticals. The only thing I'm asking is, what changed so much inside the band that we went from what we were getting pre-COVID, which was 32, 34 song set lists, to now losing 10 of those songs, and it's just a little different. Now we're not having Josh Klinghoffer open up the shows anymore, which, for what it's worth, I think is better. But I would prefer 3 hours of Pearl Jam than an opening act in Pearl Jam. And that's just my opinion. I know that you're the band that's supposed to open up for Minnesota. Mario saying is really good. I know Inhaler. I heard a couple people say that,
I don't, Anthony, I think it's as simple as you just can't do that forever. Like Bruce Springsteen is a superhuman being to be able to do what he does.
Yeah.
Right. And he's the only guy I can think of at that age playing a 3-hour show.
Paul McCartney, right? Elton John, Rolling Stones.
What does Elton John do? Elton John sits at a piano.
Oh, yeah, good point. I guess I
get it. I mean, like he's not running all over the stage, jumping up and down, wailing his guitar, right? I mean, it's hard to do. It's hard on you. And so if you want them to play for another 20 years, like the Rolling Stones, maybe they can't do that. Maybe they just can't. They just don't have the ability to do that and keep it up in order to, they're looking at the long game instead of the short game. So.
No, I get it. So let me ask you this. Do you see the band doing a massive tour next year, or do you see them maybe like, let's say they do Australia, New Zealand, right? 6 dates in Australia, 4 dates in New Zealand, maybe 2 in Japan, maybe China, which is weird to me because I don't even know if they've ever played China before. But let's say they do something like that, right? Do you think they do that and then take a break and then maybe do something else? Or do you see them ever doing a large tour?
No, I don't see them doing a large tour again ever.
Hmm.
No, I see them doing, if they're doing, let's say they do that tour you're just talking about right there.
Mm-hmm.
I think they come home, they take 6 months off, and then they maybe do an East Coast version of what they're doing starting tomorrow night. 7 shows on the East Coast, Boston, New York, Philly, Virginia, and just skip the Southeast. Just fuck
Well,
those guys.
here's the thing, too. 2024 is a very important year in America, right? You're talking about election year,
Yep.
big things, right? And with an approval rating, which is fucking beyond me, approval rating of 72% for Donald Trump and the Republican Party, which is mind-blowing today when I read that article, with the candidates dropping out today. There's a very good chance that it's going to be Trump versus whoever the Democrats pick to run, because I don't think it's going to be Joe Biden, but whoever it is. This is going to be...
You think Joe Biden's going to die? Because he's running for president.
I don't think he's running for president. He might say that, but I also think he doesn't even know where he is half the time. I don't understand how half these people are in office right now.
I don't want to talk about politics on our show. How about that?
No. I get it. Listen, I really respect Joe Biden.
Yeah.
I really do. I respect. I try my best to respect presidents in general because I respect. I want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
I do think that they're going to try to find someone younger to run, but I don't know. One thing I don't know is politics. I just assume. But anyway, regardless, if Trump runs, whoever he's running against, I would assume that there's going to be ammunition in the chamber, and I would assume that that the album for next year might look tremendously different too, with some songs being on it to counteract that campaign a little bit. And I can see them maybe pushing through a little bit more of a tour to some states that are on the borderline, so that Pearl Jam could utilize that as they have in past tours for that vote for change per se. And maybe that is, but I think that if Trump doesn't run per se, and they get someone else to run because of indictments and whatever, however that works, because I don't know how that works and I don't understand it. But if they do something else, I could easily see them maybe being like, oh, we don't necessarily need to do that big tour anymore then.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have a hard time thinking that that's part of their methodology for touring, at least next year. I don't know if they look at that or not. I mean, maybe they are. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But so let's talk about something fun today, shall we? First, I want to ask your opinion about today's poster. Have you seen it?
Let's see it.
So this is the poster for tomorrow's show. And I want to ask you, what's the first thing you see when you see that poster?
Lover, come over here. Look at this. Well, this is what Anthony. What do you see, Anthony?
I see a big black penis. That's all I see. I can't.
Freudian.
We call it a Freudian slip.
I can't look at that and not see.
It looks like it looks like a tiki robot or something.
That looks like 2 big balls on the bottom and a penis head on top. That is what I see when I see that.
All right. Well,
And listen, yeah. Dude, and this artist, right? He's made
squint for sure. Yeah.
And maybe in person it looks different, but I'm telling you,
Who's the artist?
Tomo, I think his name is Tomo, and he's done some other Pearl Jam posters, and I can pull those up. Let me pull those up too. I just, when I saw this, and I had a lot of text messages say like, "Did you see the black penis poster?" I said, "What are you talking about?" And then I got the picture, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness." Let me see what he's done. So yeah, he did the Sacramento poster in 2022. Okay. That was the one with like the let me pull that up too. I can here real quick. So this is so this is the one he did in 2022.
Oh, that's a cool one.
And
like
that's
that.
A cool one.
I like
it's just this year he did this one. And
I mean,
but that's
I don't know what it was supposed to be. Beyond that, I was looking into it, just trying to look at all the little details in it, and I couldn't really tell what it is. So,
yeah, it is. It is kind of hard to read. But once again, and I will say, there's been plenty of times I went to a show and I looked at the poster, and the poster that the image I got through, Mr. T-shirt online and stuff like that it looks better in person. But I do think now there was there was somebody that posted something yesterday that hinted at Minnesota show. I think it was Chuck Sperry. Chuck Sperry? I think it was Sperry. That posted that, isn't Minnesota? It's really pretty in Minnesota at this time of the year. And Chuck Sperry had posted yesterday that he thought Minnesota is a great time. It's a great time to be in Minnesota this year. Wink, wink. So there's a good chance that the second show maybe is a Chuck Sperry, and Chuck Sperry is fucking fantastic.
He's one of our favorites. We have our living room has got a Dave Matthews poster that he did, and a Pearl Jam poster he did. So
he's fantastic.
Art print. Yeah.
Oh, Chuck Sperry, he's super talented. His color scheme's great. His contrast, everything. So, and like I said, once again, I don't want to keep knocking the one post for tomorrow. Hopefully, I pray to God that the people that are waiting in line tomorrow maybe they see it and are like, oh my God, look at the details. But
it looks like, did you see the merch lineup that they released today too? The basketball and the.
Oh, we got those photos too.
Yeah.
So.
I love the duffel bag and the basketball, the beer koozie. You got to get you got to have like a 12-pack of those.
Yeah.
And some of the T-shirts are pretty cool too.
I thought so too. I'm a big fan of the sweatshirts. I've gotten the sweatshirts without the hoods the last couple of times, and those things are fantastic.
Okay.
I wear mine all the time.
Well, this one, what's the back of this sweatshirt look like? It looks like blue and red.
Here, let me do this.
Pearl Jam 23 or something.
Let me go on Facebook here and go to Pearl Jam's page, and I could pull up the pictures a little bit closer, and then we can look at them. Sorry, I should have been a little bit more prepared, and I apologize. This is just Anthony 3 years later still fucking up.
I just realized I'm wearing my Missoula shirt. I was looking at myself like, I'm wearing my Missoula shirt today from 18. Yeah.
Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. All right, let me zoom in here. Let me go over, and there we go. All right, so here is the merch for that is now. I'm assuming this is all assumption wise. I'm assuming they'll have a day of show shirt. I'm assuming they'll have. Why is this on here? Can I minimize that? Close all chats. There we go. I'm assuming they'll have day of show shirts and pins like they have in the past with stickers, but that's all assumptions. Yeah. Here's a little information on when the shows are being done and how they're being paid and how much it is, all that stuff. It also says here, I like this. Poster tubes are allowed at all shows. Basketballs are sold deflated. No inflated balls are allowed in the venue, which is an interest. I mean, So here's the main Pearl Jam tour shirt. I kind of dig this. 2 colors, simple. You got the heart flames again. Easy. Okay. That's called the burn tee. I like this shirt. I like the green and yellow. This kind of brings back 2006 vibes with some of the merch they've done in the past.
Yep, I dig that one. Yep.
So yeah,
I like PJ. PJ looks great.
Yep. The rat.
I like that one. It's old school.
Yeah. Okay. So that's really cool. I dig that. And here's the I guess they're doing like kind of like a throwback, like almost like a college shirt or a high school shirt, like that. That's like a kind of font that you would use in like a high school or college. And then it's got like a lion, which is cool. I mean, or tiger, whatever it is. Bears, oh my. And then here's
let's ask Tiger King.
Oh, Tiger King. That'd be great. I'm assuming this is a woman's
Unbound women's tee. It looks like.
I like that. Yeah, that's a really cool one.
Cute.
Here's the hoodie.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's simple, right? Kind of reminds like a Vans hoodie.
It looks like it's textured almost, or not textured. It looks like it's like a different fabric between the where the pockets are and the body on the front.
Yeah, it could be like almost like 2 different colors almost.
Yeah, but like 2 different fabrics maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Cool looking.
There's the basketball, which is gonna be cool. I need this for my man cave. And then here's the sweatshirt. I think the sweatshirt's awesome. I can't wait to get this. Oh, Bayside Tigers. There you go. JJB, the Bayside Tigers for all of you Saved by the Bell fans. And then here's the whole lineup. I will tell you this. Now, once again, if anyone knows anything about me, I go up there, I max out my credit cards by going 2 of everything, please. And I'll probably do the same thing here. So I know that this is the kid shirt over here. It's basically it's supposed to be like a vampire or some sort. I've tried zooming in a little bit, or it's the rat. But supposedly someone said it looks like a vampire.
How much, Anthony? How much is that credit card bill?
The last one, I actually looked at it the other night because I was asked this question. The last one in L.A. when I did two of everything, and I did 2 posters. I think I did 4 of the purple hats because I bought some for people. I think it was only like $1,275. The most I've ever spent on one swipe was Boston 2016 when they had like the jersey, they had like 4 hoodies and stuff, and it was like,
Yeah, I got that jersey. That was a good jersey. That black
that was
one.
a good jersey, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, I hope Heather's not listening. It was like 2,700 I think I spent with one swipe, and I had to like approve it through like a text message, like. But then
Make sure they didn't get your credit card ripped off.
yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I could tell you that I won't be buying that one black hat they've had for every tour over the last 3 years. For some reason, they just can't sell this hat. They still have that one. So, and it looks like they're going to a plastic bag this year, see-through plastic bag instead of the traditional fabric one they've had for the last couple of years. So, but tomorrow, it all starts, man. This is it. This is what everyone's waiting for. You're gonna have your tour. Two days in Minnesota, 2 days in Chicago, a day in Indianapolis, 2 days in Dallas, and then 2 days in Austin. I mean, it's not a lot of shows, but that's it.
Nope.
That's what you get.
It's 3 weeks right there.
I wish I could work 3 weeks and not have to work anymore. Like, I would love that. Give me a couple shows. That's it. I mean, most of the band members are doing other things, but man,
maybe they're how much practice they putting in, Anthony.
100%.
They don't get paid for practice.
Oh, no. I'm not. Oh, I totally agree with you on that one. And and if you think about what the bands, what they've done separately, Mike McCready's been in how many different side projects, bringing back so many different bands, doing the Rockfords, kind of showing up. He's done a ton. Eddie with the solo stuff. And I will say it's interesting. It's just Eddie Vedder solo, not with the Earthlings, which I prefer him solo over the Earthlings. Do you think that we'll get some more solo Eddie Vedder shows this winter, or is this going to be a one-off? You think?
I absolutely have no idea. I really have. Like, you think I have a finger in the pulse? I have no finger on any pulse when it comes to that stuff. I just,
Trey, this is all hypothetical. We're nobody. We're all.
We could say the way I can say I hope so. How about that?
Yeah, I could say so. I hope it's a solo thing. I'd like for him to go on tour with Liam Finnegan. That was a great solo.
That
tour.
was a great tour. You didn't like the Earthlings? I loved that. I thought that was a fun band.
It was a great. It felt too much like a cover.
It was
band
like
to
Drunk
me.
Eddie.
Drunk Eddie.
It's what it felt like. It felt like he's like basically him hanging out with all of his drinking buddies and playing music, which was pretty fun.
Yeah, I just the solo stuff. I just dig the. I enjoyed that side of things, like him going up there and kind of experimenting with things, and just him solo and
for
the
sure,
storytelling side of things.
No doubt that between Into the Wild and the Ukulele album, and his solo stuff is on par with Pearl Jam stuff. I mean, I love that stuff as much. It's awesome. So in a different way, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
No.
Some good stuff coming out of it. But yeah, so it'd be interesting. I would like to see Jeff go out on tour, maybe. I mean, he's put out a lot of music over the last couple of years. I'd like to see him do some stuff.
Music, but you know what? You know what he does with all his free time. It's not tour. He loves playing music. I think he loves recording and stuff. But it's doing all that skate park stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, think about the activism he's had behind that, and how much man hours he's done with it. And if you watch his interviews, he's really good about, because there was an interview that you can see on YouTube that was that he did for the Montana Pool Service with one of the parks he's opening. Like, every time they'd go to like a question kind of about music, he had a great way of like answering it quickly but going right back into the cause he was doing it for, because he didn't want it to be about the music. It was about his activism and why he was doing it. And I just really appreciate that.
Using whatever fame he has to in the best way possible.
Yeah, and you just got to respect that.
Oh my God, they're all. That's what I love about that. That one of the many things I love about that band is they all have their own causes, and they are passionate about those things, and they are very active in those communities and raising money for whatever they believe in, and they utilize their fame to turn that into good things, which is awesome. Instead of just, you know, being famous and then going out and being an asshole to a waiter somewhere, and
Exactly.
not doing anything good with being famous. You never hear those stories about Pearl Jam. You would never hear something
No.
like that, right?
No.
And that's because they're awesome people. And that's the other reason I think that this band has such a loyal and rabid following is because they've shown themselves to be real people, and they've shown themselves to be really good people too. And that's admirable for famous people. It's hard to do, I think. I think a lot of people truly let fame get to their head and they become assholes, or they're already assholes. Who knows? But they do good things with it, and that's awesome.
Well, and you made a great point. I mean, if you look back at other musicians over years from many different bands that we've all listened to, there's always a story of shit they've done wrong. You can't pull that shit out. I mean, if you look at Pearl Jam, the what they do, how they give back. I mean, all of them. I mean, Stone kind of does his own thing and kind of keeps quiet more than others, but I mean, every time there's a natural disaster, Pearl Jam's always out there trying to figure a way to raise money for them.
Right.
If there
Right.
is something that in Seattle, especially when in their own backyard, that needs to be done,
Yep.
Pearl Jam's putting on tours to find a way to end homelessness. There's, Jeff still lives in Montana. Oh, there's a need for kids to do something and to get them off the streets and give them a better way of, dealing with things. All right, well, how does skate park sound? And he's taking time from his own life. These guys don't have to do shit. These guys could stay home, count their dollars, buy whatever they want to on Amazon.com, have it delivered to their house, and fuck with it, and buy 6 of them, and it wouldn't matter. But they're not doing that, and they're making a difference. And I think that's why when people look at these people that are larger than life, they kind of look at them on the same level that they are on, because they act that way. How many times have you heard stories of Eddie Vedder hanging out afterwards and handing out guitar picks to kids, or playing on the side street in Chicago to a band that's just goofing off just to have fun? Or how many times have you heard Mike McCready staying after a Rockford show, taking photos with everybody in line and handing out guitar picks and signing photos until they're blue in the face? Or the list can go on, right? But this just shows the character and the true traits that this band's had for so many years. 33 fucking years now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's crazy.
1990 yeah. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That's
So,
pretty crazy. It is a long time. So feel
ah,
fortunate. I don't know how, you have a lot of memorabilia and stuff. And I used to go through my stuff all the time. Like I'd pull out all the old Deep magazines or something like that, or just go through and find like all the old set lists and ticket stubs, but I haven't done that in a long time. And then I was arranging my vinyl. We got a new vinyl cabinet because my vinyl we have more vinyl than my vinyl cabinet held in the house. So we had to get a new cabinet. And so I was moving stuff around and moving all my Pearl Jam vinyl into this one cabinet. And then it's like, you look at one of my favorite items I have is when the 10 box set came out in that really cool, all almost black holding case,
yeah, the
and it
little
had like
box.
10 and Drop in the Park and all this other stuff in it. But when that came out, the 10 Club had a contest that, you email in and they draw your name. And sure as shit, I won the signed box set of that. And
Wow.
that always sits on top of it's always sat in front of my big vinyl wall. So I had that, and I'm looking at that, and then I start pulling drawers open and just looking at like all my old like Pearl Jam cassettes. And then I look back and I'm like, oh, there's my 120 Pearl Jam CDs, which all the bootlegs, right, that everybody bought back in the 90s, spent like 50 to $60 on, right?
Mhm.
These ridiculous, some of them really good quality, some of them awful. You never knew. Um, and just realizing and I don't collect stuff the same way I did. I wasn't quite as bad as you, Anthony. I wouldn't go and buy 2 of everything, but I certainly have every poster from every show I've been to, and I try to have a T-shirt and all that stuff. But it's the cool stuff is like the guitar picks and the wristbands and the tambourine and shit like that. That you remember where you got it. You remember, you know, Mike handing you that pick or set list or whatever, and brings back memories of that show and stuff. And so it's not it's not I don't hold on to that stuff for like a monetary value. Like I would never just I'm gonna sell my set list from Spokane. I don't know who would want to buy that. I mean, I guess people would want to buy that. I have no idea. I'm sure they would, but that's not why I have that stuff. It's just mostly to remember those things. So, um, and yeah, it was fun going through it again recently. So, and seeing the basketball on the tour merch this year. I remember way back when 10 came out, that was like the big one. I don't know. Do you know anybody that owns like the original
The
Pearl
basketball hoop?
Jam 10? Yeah, the basketball.
The little game. I know one person that has the mini basketball hoop set, the desktop basketball hoop set. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I have. I haven't seen one of those in forever.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story, man. I got an email from a lady who they do a television show on one of those. It's not Hulu or Peacock, but it's one of those other networks that
Okay.
just have their own shows that maybe aren't good. They didn't make it to Netflix, but they're like a couple tiers down. And the show was about Pearl Jam collectors.
Okay.
And the show was about people who collect things. And the premise was, for instance, this show, the premise is they find someone who has a huge collection of whatever it is, Beanie Babies, for instance. They find someone else who is an expert in whatever it is this person owns, and then this person goes to this person's home and looks at their collection, maybe talks about it. Oh, I know about this. I know about this. Came out. This is worth this much money. Blah blah blah. And then at the end, they apparently like trade something. They bring something to trade each other. Like, well, this was my Beanie Baby, and maybe they had whatever. So this person they wanted to do it on this guy up in Bellingham who has, and I've heard about him. I can't remember his name. Tim
Seattle
Bierman told me
Batman.
about him before.
Mhm.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay. So anyways, apparently he has like the biggest Pearl Jam collection. He owns everything, right?
Yep.
Or at least almost everything you can own. And so this woman reached out to me. I think it was actually somebody from Sub Pop. They reached out to Sub Pop. They're like, well, no one from Pearl Jam's going to answer us. So they reached out to somebody from Sub Pop. The Sub Pop person put them in touch with me to see if I would be the expert to go to this guy's house and go through everything. And, say, oh my God. But first of all, it's 6 hours away. It's not like I'm not in Seattle. It's just a long ways away. And, I don't know the value of any of that shit. So I know what's, I've never seen before or, what they made very few of. But so what's this guy's name?
I don't know so I only know him as Seattle Batman. So this guy has a gate to his front of his house that has like a Batman symbol and an Eddie Vedder symbol. And
this is in Seattle and Bellingham. Bellingham's about 2 hours north, and this guy was about 2 hours north of Seattle. So, the person I'm talking about, Tim told me he lived up there, or Mount Vernon maybe not Bellingham, like Mount Vernon, like an hour and a half north of the city. So there we go.
Is that his name?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get the guy's name either. So, but anyway.
Yeah, but there is a guy up there. I think he lives in what you're talking about, but he has literally every poster, like that is like I guess in plexiglass, like when he made hallways with these plexiglass hanging from that you can walk through and see all of his posters throughout the entire basement of his house. And I mean, he's got an Instagram profile of like him meeting the band multiple times and autographs and guitars and all these things. And I got to meet him at London Bridge Studios back when I was in Seattle during a contest that he had won, and he was getting the guitar signed by Mike McCready and some other things and whatever. And man, he was telling me all these things. He's bought a couple of times. I've sold him a poster. Like if I've had extras and stuff, I've sold him I think 2 or 3 of them. And he's bought from me, and he's very particular about how things get shipped. And he's a big collector. But supposedly he's got like everything. Like he supposedly, from my understanding, he's got things that even the band doesn't have anymore. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, listen, I have a lot. I do have a lot of stuff, and I have actually kind of.
What do you think your rarest item is you own?
So rarest item that I own is, I have a Jeff Ament wristband.
This shows all we're all over the place, by the way. So whoever's watching, it's our 3rd anniversary. So thank you for letting us have like no format whatsoever to this. So
no. I mean, I think we're talking about it's merch. I mean, we're going into a new tour tomorrow with merch. I think it all works out, but it is sporadic. I kind of dig it.
That's fun. I like it.
So I do have a poster that was not supposed to get printed for the Charlottesville show. I think I showed it to you when you were here last time. And so originally for the Charlottesville show, there was a local artist that was going to do the poster for it. And it was an owl, and it has like a skull in the middle of its body. And they printed one off, and Pearl Jam declined it like 2 weeks for the show. And then or like 2 months for the show. And then Jermaine Rodgers ended up getting the poster. And he did a fantastic job. I love that poster still. But I got to know the artist, and he sold me his only copy of it, and it's hanging in the in my hallway going down to my studio, and that's pretty cool.
Take a picture of that and send it to me after our show tonight.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, 100%. I can post. I'll actually take a picture of it and post it on the touring fan page afterwards too. That's pretty cool. I have a wristband from Jeff Ament that he threw into the crowd in Phoenix. I caught that, but I don't. And here's the thing. Like, I was going through some Pearl Jam stuff, like, last week as I was cleaning the studios we were talking about before to get Charlotte set up with her stuff over there. And, there's things like I have a lot of posters, more than I'll ever know what the fuck to do with. But like...
How many are framed? How many are not framed?
Framed, I'm at 81 frame, and I have 52 on the wall. And that's posters from all different Pearl Jam shows, because I just collect, because some of them have multiple shows and stuff, because Night 2 Dallas will be show 50 for me. And then I think I
could be there.
Huh?
I wish I could be there for that.
I wish you could be there too. And I think, dude, I have, oh man, this is kind of sad to say, I have like 211 Pearl Jam posters in a flat file. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, dude. Fucking yeah, that's 211. Good. And the only reason I know that was we just had to redo our homeowners insurance, and I have a separate policy on all my artwork, and we have to label them.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I had been really lazy on, is really going in and just sort of like because that stuff, from a value standpoint, like, it's not worth money to me. It's just worth the memories. But when I'm not here, my kids have it. If they don't want it,
sure,
go find what's the fair market value for that stuff. I have so when the Chicago Cubs won the World Series, I've got a signed Chicago Cubs World Series ball from the band. There were only like 10 of those, and so that's kind of a cool, weird one-off item, right? And the Mookie Blaylock T-shirt, of course, which I got from Regan Hager, and so that's like, yeah, I wear that thing all the time. I have no problem wearing that thing out. So, and like a couple of Mother Love Bone things, a couple other old Mother Love Bone T-shirts. I love those things; those are great to have. My kids are. Chloe's now taking all my T-shirts from the closet. June, she wears some of our T-shirts too. So I gotta let them know that one's off limits. But other than that,
but to me, like, I think, like, so even when I was talking to the appraisal expert when we were doing some stuff, because poster values have declined over the last year and a half. Some of them that were so much now have declined a little bit, and I think it's just because the market value, they always go up and down. It's just like stocks. Yeah. But to me, like, there's things that I have sentimental value over, like, me and Brady's the show I took Brady to go see Pearl Jam at in Baltimore, Maryland, and Eddie handed in the set list. That's framed. That means a lot to me. I had, I've lost some friends over the last few years that I went to shows with, and like I have ticket stubs and posters from that show that I look back at, and that kind of gives me like that reminds me of the happy times with them, and that's more valuable to me than the things that are worth money. Because I think one of the coolest things that you can ever been told is like you can buy anything you want to in life, but you can't really buy time, and time is memories, and memories bring you whatever the case can be and stuff, and you can go back to that time in life. And so the reason I have so many of these posters up on the wall or so many T-shirts that I wear, whatever, it's because it brings me back to that moment in time, that I'm with people that I care about, and that I can, if you forget all the other shit, and that's where you're at in that time. So when I come down to my room and I'm surrounded by all these Pearl Jam posters and these ticket stubs and photos of friends that, maybe you only meet them one time, but I talk to them a ton of times online and stuff, and it brings you back to those moments. That's where all of that shit that I buy and all those things, because it brings me back to that moment in time of sitting at a bar and laughing before a show, or afterwards going to a really shitty restaurant and laughing about it and having a really fun memory, or just waiting in line in a merch line, or being in South Carolina waiting for a day and a half to get front on the rail and getting to know people you never knew and making lifelong friends, or starting a podcast to talk about Pearl Jam because of all the things you have to talk about things. This is what it's all about. I mean, listen, I've literally heard every Pearl Jam song I could hear live. Honestly, there's not many Pearl Jam songs that I want to hear that I haven't heard.
Yeah.
But there's people that I haven't seen in a really long time that I want to give a hug to. There's people that I want to see that I just want to talk to them and see them face to face. There's people in this world that like being around them, just does cool things. This band has brought me has brought me Brad, has brought me Sam, has brought me Rhiannon, who's brought me Jen, who's brought me Touring Fan Live, who's brought me, Matt, who's brought me Alan, who's brought JJB. All these different people that have come into my life is because of this band. So without this band and without me buying these merchandise to think back to things, to all these memories I had with the band, because of this band, that's what it's for. I can give two shits about the money side of things, because guess what? I could die tomorrow, and I can't take money or these items with me. But guess what? When I'm going, the memories I'm going to have because of this band and the things that I've had because of it, that's the most important thing when it comes to the merchandise or even the fucking band side of things. So that, to me, that's how it all wraps up together.
Well, see, then you can also answer your original question about the value of a Pearl Jam show and the money you spend to go do that show.
Oh, sure.
Because at that point, now you're like, okay, well, it's not just the show, right? It's all the other stuff that goes along with it. And so, again, the people you meet, your friends you get to hang out with, and all that stuff. So, in that sense, the shows are priceless.
Sure.
And that's why people are paying the money that they pay for these things, because they want to create those memories and they want to do all the other stuff that we're talking about. So,
if it wasn't for work being so busy, I was planning on going to every show this tour. I wanted to be like 2013 and try to do every single one, but I am fucking swamped, and it's killing me because like I've gotten over the last 4 days, for some reason the floodgates opened by people like, hey, what shows you going to? And originally it was going to be like Chicago, and it was going to be Indy, and then Dallas and Austin.
I was hoping to be able to go to Chicago. I was hoping that Holly and I could actually fly out and go to Chicago with you. So, but
it's just
harvest, man. Harvest. What are you gonna do?
I mean, right now, and it's a good and a bad thing. Like right now, my business in Kansas City has grown in a way that I never imagined it could. Like I am too busy. Like I'm project after project after project. So right now, I'm only doing Dallas and Austin, and but it sucks because there's people I really want to see, and I know I won't be able to go see them. But here's to the next tour, I suppose. But it's going to be pretty cool.
You'll have a great time. I know you will.
Oh, yeah.
And all of our friends out there, I hope you guys have a great time on the tour. I'll for sure be watching the set lists and looking at everybody's pictures and wishing I was there and stuff. But I'll be here making wine and dreaming about that Eddie show we get to go to on the 22nd. So that's going to be exciting.
I wish I was going to that as well. I did not get tickets, and when I looked at just flying out there and hoping to get tickets, and I saw the cost of a flight for that week, I said, "Ooh, I don't think I'm taking the risk on that one."
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, let's wrap this show up a little bit. 3 years, 35 episodes. You know, it's funny every time I think like, I wonder when Trey's going to tell me he doesn't have time for me anymore, and we continue doing this. Who knows where we'll be in 3 years?
I hope we're doing this.
I hope so too.
Hey, my pizza guy's here. Hold on 1 second. Hey, lover. Pizza guy's here. Let's do the Jeff Spicoli version. Who is it? Pizza guy. Who? Pizza guy. Just what in the hell do you think you're doing, Mr. Spicoli? Learning about Cuba, having some food.
Oh man, Trey. Well, listen, pizza's there. I know you need to eat. Well, listen, once again, if this is your first time ever turning into the show, there's 35 past episodes, and some of those, like this episode, are roller coasters. Some are really good on a top 5.
Some are focused, laser focused.
Oh, and then some of them, Anthony's
all over the board, but
Anthony's one bottle in by halftime, and it is a fucking. By the end of that show, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
That's what I'm talking about.
I didn't drink so much tonight. I'm
Good
really
job. You only drank 1 glass. Well done.
a glass and a half. Like I said, I'm really trying my best to. This half is important to me. So
I'm excited about your marathon you got coming up too, buddy. It's amazing. So
yeah, October. We'll talk. We'll definitely have some episodes before then. So yeah. So
yes, we will. I will tell you. We'll look at if we're going to be looking at September. You and I we'll set the date when we get off this thing here. So
yeah, 100%.
All right.
But listen, Trey, is there anything that we need to talk about, or is there anything that you need to mention or bring to the fucking table before we end this?
The only thing I want you to check your text messages real quick. I sent a picture. If Brad is still watching, I sent you a photo that Jeff Whitman texted to me yesterday, and it was L.A. 2013, 14. Brad will remember. 16. I don't remember, man. It's there's so many shows right there. Do you see Brad and Sam up front, right?
Yep.
Right there. Go straight above Brad. All right. Go up above Brad. Straight. Keep on going. Keep on going. Keep on going. Like 6, 7 people back. Keep on going. See Mohawk guy up there?
Yep.
All right. Look to the left of Mohawk guy. There's Jeff Whitman.
Okay.
Now look to me. I'm next to him.
Oh, there you are.
Right there.
There you are.
So Brad's gonna have to remind me which. Actually, Whitman may have even texted that date. Let's look here real quick.
You can never miss Brad.
Oh, that was 9 years ago. That was 2014.
Jeez.
And so as we're sitting here talking about, again, what Pearl Jam has brought us, like you, again, I wouldn't know you. I wouldn't know Brad and Sam. I wouldn't know Jeff. So I'm grateful for all you guys.
Oh, that means a lot, Trey. Well,
all right, buddy.
In the magical words of Jesus Christ, I'll be back. Till next time, I'm Anthony. That's Trey. Another glass of wine, another Pearl Jam song. Maybe not. We're talking about a tour. But until next time, until tomorrow, if you want to continue to watch, because we'll have me and Brian and Meth talking about another necessary list, talking about music tours. But until next time, I'm Anthony Krizowitz. That's Trey Bush. And this is 3 years later, 35 episodes in the books. And this is Let's Talk Vinyl.